Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everyone is having a fantastic, oh crap, I don't know what day it is, Tuesday, February the 18th. Let's see who we have in the chat today. We got Legacy, Caleb, Ben, Liam, Rockets, Ponderosa, and everyone else who is tuning in, may not be chatting and is watching. Glad to have you in here. LWX24, I'll just say the mods again, Pete, Caleb, Legacy, glad to see you guys all in here for another live stream bin as well. And we're going to go ahead and switch on over to, we'll switch over to our winter storm scene for now, just so I can make sure everything's, oh, that's off center and that is bugging me. We'll move that a little bit to the right like that. That way that moderate, or rather major risk is more centered. So hopefully everyone's having a fantastic day out there. We're going to be talking about some winter weather out here in the south central United States, and also going into the eastern portions of the U.S. for tomorrow, including my area here in Southern Virginia. So this is what our radar currently looks like out there in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Illinois, Western Tennessee, Western Kentucky. Now, the radar has done a pretty poor job at predicting and simulating that area of sleet as well as freezing rain. So just take note that if you are out here in Little Rock, this currently says that if you're in Little Rock, you're getting freezing rain and or mixed precipitation. But actually, most of this area here is actually receiving freezing rain and mixed precipitation. So a good chunk of Arkansas, with the exception of northern Arkansas, is going to be seeing a lot of mixed precipitation. Now, I do want to go ahead and jump right on into what you're seeing above my face cam, because we're actually in for a historic event out there in the eastern portions of Virginia and North Carolina. If we go over to our WSSI, we actually have major impacts out here in southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. That is for the potential of up to a foot of snow. I'll say that again, a foot of snow out here in Virginia Beach and Norfolk, Virginia. So those areas are very popular beaches. So there's going to be a lot of impacts in this area, and it is most likely a very historic event going into your Wednesday evening time frame for Virginia and North Carolina, with those major impacts going into northeastern North Carolina. Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, also under those moderate impacts. So big snowstorm for the far eastern portions of southeastern Virginia and extreme northeastern North Carolina tomorrow. A lot of this snow in this region here has downtrended, with the exception of those coastal areas that is uptrended. Most of us In that moderate impact, we'll be ending up with 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. And in that minor impact, a lot of us are going to end up seeing about 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. So here I am in Martinsville. They're calling for just about 3 inches of snowfall. I do think that's going to end up probably being on the lesser side due to dry air, but we'll see how it verifies. And then we actually do have a little freezing rain risk here. If we switch over to strictly the ice accumulation risk, you could see we do have a level 3 out of 5 for ice accumulation, a moderate impact there for the Greenville areas pointing south. Also, some scattered level 1 and level 2 impacts for freezing rain here in Arkansas, Oklahoma, into Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, as well as into Alabama and Tennessee. So overall, once again, we are dealing with a major winter storm today and tomorrow. This will impact much of Missouri, much of northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, much of Arkansas, much of Tennessee, much of Kentucky, much of West Virginia, and North Carolina, and even going into southern Maryland as well. With lake effect snowfall being possible in portions of Illinois, most of Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, as well as into New York here. We do have quite the good amount of snow expected there. Hopefully I'll remember to look at the possible snow totals, but I imagine it's probably just under a foot of snowfall possible there northwest of Syracuse, New York. If we go ahead and take a look at our chaser Connor Croft, I'll go ahead and do we're just going to I'm just going to do this one because I didn't check that second scene. I don't know what it's going to show, but Connor Croft's above my face cam there, and he is in downtown Joplin. The snow is relatively paused now, but if you are trying to travel along the I-44 corridor, I believe it is, we're going to go look right now, that interstate has sustained very substantial impacts out of this winter storm. I believe this is your I-44 corridor. Yeah, that area has sustained extremely significant impacts in terms of travel impacts. We do have a camera there from Missouri DOT on an entry ramp area. This is I-44 in Springfield, Missouri, provided by travel.modot, which is your Missouri dot. And you can see that the travel impacts are very, very significant on the I-44 corridor. So if you don't absolutely have to travel, please do not travel. There's been, I've only watched these cameras and some chasers for like about 30 minutes today, and I've already seen at least 10 cars stuck along this corridor. So please just make sure if you are traveling that you absolutely have to. If you absolutely have to travel and if it's an emergency, then go right ahead. But if you do not have to travel, please do not travel. Traveling is going to be probably the most dangerous thing you could do in this winter storm. Just try your best to stay home and stay warm out there. We've got those winter storm warnings all the way from northwestern Kansas, north central Kansas, through Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. They have adjusted these winter storm warnings some, so southern Tennessee's been taken out of some of those warnings, as well as into the Piedmont Triad of North Carolina. A lot of you guys have been removed from those winter storm warnings, as there is an opportunity for us to have a warm nose that allows for pretty much very light snow as opposed to heavy snow to impact this area. So the National Weather Service removed those warnings due to a downtrend in our model runs and the potential for drier air entering the central portions of North Carolina. Also, some winter storm warnings, I believe, were removed for, let's see, I'm trying to remember here. I think we had winter storm warnings as far north as St. Louis, or winter storm watches as far north as St. Louis there. So we might have had some removed there. But generally, the biggest change for those warnings was the removal of central North Carolina from winter storm warnings. So again, just to take a look at your current radar here, this allows you to see those more pockets of dry air that have been infiltrating our system. We have a good one here in Arkansas. This will continue to fill in. So if you're looking for those totals of up to a foot of snowfall today, you really got to get extremely lucky out there in north central Arkansas into southern Missouri. I don't think we're going to see up to a foot of snowfall anymore. It looks like the end of our snowstorm is probably about 3 hours away for Springfield. I hope I'm wrong in that, because the original forecast was, I think, about a foot to 14 inches of snow possible. So If we see only 5 inches of snow in Springfield through this whole thing, that would be very underwhelming for most of the snow lovers there in Springfield. It looks like you could see an additional up to 5 inches of snow. So Springfield could get as much as 7 to 8 inches of snow, which is nowhere near the foot to 14 inches of snow we were thinking yesterday for today's snow event. So it has already started to trend more on the lower side of things. Also, St. Louis. Look at that. We got a 2-inch snow report up there in St. Louis. Shoot, we have an overperformer over St. Louis. Didn't expect to see that. You guys have actually been downtrending throughout the entirety of today. Just got a random report of 2 inches of snow up there. To put that in perspective, that area's forecast is about 1.5 to 2 inches of snow throughout the entirety of tonight. So the fact they already got 2 inches of snow on the ground, that's crazy. It wasn't even supposed to start snowing there until, 9, 10 o'clock tonight Eastern time. So a little bit of a overperformer for St. Louis, and probably some areas getting into western Texas and western Tennessee as well. Storm may be moving a little bit quicker. That might actually be the case here. Let me look at yesterday's model runs and compare that to what we're seeing now. So Kentucky was expected to get the heavy band of snow around, this is about 6 p.m., right around 6, 7 p.m. They are already getting that heavy snow, so it seems like that's on schedule. But St. Louis, St. Louis wasn't supposed to be until the earliest 10 p.m. Eastern, and more likely midnight Eastern. So you guys are very, very well ahead of schedule. The main thing that makes me think is we're probably going to end up with some slightly better snow totals going into this area here, the northern side of this system. I don't think you guys will actually see like ridiculous accumulation, but you might have an opportunity to actually get, an inch and a half of snow on the northern side of this system. Whereas yesterday we were really thinking that wouldn't be the case. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Tomorrow has so much uncertainty in this area. It is absurd. And that's because of your Appalachian Mountains. We don't know how much dry air the Appalachians are going to be able to, or rather how much moisture the Appalachians are going to be able to bring out. We don't know how quick our low pressure is going to be able to form and move along the coastline of the Carolinas. And we also don't know the exact timing of it. Of course, we know it will be sometime tomorrow, but some models begin snow in central Virginia at 3. Some begin it at noon. Some even begin it as late as 1 p.m. So there's a lot of uncertainty on exactly when that snow will start out here in the mid-Atlantic. Again, that's Connor Croft above my face cam. He is in Joplin along the I-11 corridor. You can see all the semis stopped on the shoulder there. It is very, very significant snow accumulation, especially on roads. It is accumulating very, very well on roads. I wonder if any of this was even treated, honestly, because it's stuck. Like, from the moment it started falling on Connor's feed, it was already sticking along the I-11 corridor. And you can see these areas of dry air. It's really not that fun for any snow lovers out here. It looks like this system is really getting that dry air, some dry air issues. So the main band right now, the biggest and largest and heaviest band, looks to be focused right in this corridor here. And then I feel like this is sleet. If we go ahead and change this to a regional radar, I bet this is going to show up as sleet. Yeah, see, this is all sleet. You can see the CC all the way up that far to the northeast. So even though Radar Omega's MRMS says this is snow, I'm quite confident this is going to be sleet. This is probably freezing rain, and then down here is probably pure rain. So I don't believe Radar Omega in that sense, in all of this being snow. For you, Legacy, you're still right where we were talking about yesterday in the Discord server. I think you're still right in that 2 to 4 inch range. Yeah, that's still very reasonable to expect. Yeah. If I had to give you an exact forecast, I would definitely be expecting 3 inches of snow in this whole region here. This whole area. Now, if you get towards that far southern counties of southern Tennessee, that's where you're going to start dropping off drastically. Carson, really the entire Piedmont Triad could be absolutely just an absolute bust of a forecast. I mean, just 2 days ago, we were thinking you guys would be seeing 4, maybe even up to 5 inches of snow. And now, I mean, what is the National Weather Service calling for? They're saying 1 to 2 with isolated 3 inches of snow. Man, you'd be lucky if you even get up to 2 inches of snow. I think that dry air is really going to hurt this entire portion of your winter storm. I don't even really know why they left me in a winter storm warning, because I highly doubt I'm going to actually get to 3 to 5 inches of snow. Most model runs are backing off today. Some of them call for as much as 2 inches of snow, but I mean, the only one that really calls for more than 2 inches of snow is the GFS. So I believe that this entire area here in the purple and even in the pink, most of us are only going to see about 1 inch, 2 inches of snow. We could get the isolated up to 3 inches of snow, but I really don't feel like that's much of a possibility anymore. And it's crazy how literally 5 days ago, this looked like a potential historic blizzard, like something we haven't seen in 7 years. And just every day as we got closer and closer, it was just a downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. So that's why I never really shared any crazy forecast or did any videos about it, because I just knew it was going to downtrend a lot. They always do. Maybe not that terribly, though. I mean, that was one of the biggest downtrends I've seen. Most models went from 12 to 18 inches of snow in the 7-day range to 2 to 4 in the 2-day range. So still going to get some snow out here in Martinsville, but I don't think it'll be nearly as impactful as what we were originally expecting. Without dry air, so you're absolute, like, ridiculous overperformer, like one of the biggest overperformers you could possibly see. I'll go ahead and give you an exact number on that for your area. So if we had absolutely, like, 0 dry air, your high end would be 7 to 8 inches of snowfall. And believe it or not, this is about to sound absurd. You better get ready for this. If we had no dry air on the coastal areas of Virginia, we could see as much as 18 inches of snow from Virginia Beach up through Williamsburg in Virginia without any dry air entrainment. And over here for Hillsborough as well, which, let's see, where's that? That's like somewhere in here. I chased the area. There it is. Yeah, so right now they're forecasting 1 to 2 inches of snow, isolated 3 inches of snow. If we had no dry air, you could see as much as 10. And if you're wondering what I'm getting this off of, it's actually the National Weather Service's high-end amount. The high-end amount is if the environment is literally absolutely perfect and nothing goes wrong, which is only about a 10% chance for every area. So somebody in this region is going to get an overperforming snowstorm. I can tell you that. Someone in here is going to get more snow than forecasted. By how much, can't tell you. Exactly who, definitely can't tell you. But I will definitely be keeping a very close eye on it. I am thinking of chasing. However, I haven't put any gas in my car, so I'm doomed. I'm thinking of chasing it, but honestly, I feel like it might not be... I don't know. It's a really good timing. Like, it's really... If I'm going to chase any winter storm, it's going to have to be this one, because it's only like 2 to 4 inches of snow, which is not absolutely absurd for my area. And then it's also not in the very early morning or in the night hours. I mean, the heaviest band's going to come through around 2 p.m., so... I mean, it would not be a bad idea to chase it. If you guys are enjoying the coverage, make sure you hit that like button. The more likes we have, the more we get pushed out to the YouTube algorithm. It's really appreciated, so make sure you hit that like button. Also, consider sharing this with your family, friends, social media, anybody you know who is in the winter storm affected areas. Just taking a look at this once again, we actually do have winter weather advisories as far as almost central Louisiana. This is just one county to the north of Alexandria, Louisiana, where we have a winter weather advisory for freezing rain and sleet that is expected. You could also get some ice accumulation, but it most likely won't be very, very impactful. So the biggest thing will just be to keep an eye on the roads tomorrow morning. Drive very carefully if you're going out tonight or tomorrow morning. What in the Supercell? What is this? That just kind of surprised me right there. We've got actually quite a good looking cell right there. If we just had a bit more of wind shear, that would actually pose a small tornado threat. We do actually have a risk for severe weather today, but it's on the very coastal areas. I'll go ahead and show you that. That storm might actually be rotating a little bit out there in the special weather statement. So there's your risk for your marginal risk. And then, wow, it used to be a big 2% like this. If I remember correctly, the day 2 risk was a large 2%, but now they only have that for extreme coastal areas. But yeah, this is, man, if I saw this storm in real life, that would be like that would make my whole year of storm chasing. Because that's probably a very cool looking storm structure. If I'd have to imagine it. I imagine that's really awesome there. If we take a look at correlation coefficient, see if we get any areas here. So the area that's getting the most sleet and or freezing rain, most specifically sleet, is south of Newport. This snow/rain shower, according to radar, if we look at our MRMS, I think it says fully snow. Yeah, so this has a very heavy band of snow. But if we change to our regional radar and you go to correlation coefficient, if you didn't know, this is what rain looks like. Rain and snow have these more broadened out correlation coefficient. They're higher values. They're closer to the 100 percentile. And then sleet has a lower correlation coefficient, closer to below 95%. So this indicates sleet out here in this particular shower of mixed precipitation. If we go up towards Springfield and we look at correlation coefficient, you can see how pretty much all of this is at or just barely below that 100 percentile for correlation coefficient, which means it's primarily all heavy snow out here in and around the Springfield area. So again, that's Connor Croft above my face cam. He's just barely to the south and west of Joplin, Missouri. So he is out here somewhere. I think he's trying to get into this little snow band right here as he's going west on this particular road that I've circled here. And like I said, try your best to avoid the I-11 corridor. If I go ahead and pull up another camera here, I'll just select a random one. Let's go. Let's see. Can we get a camera in like Mount Vernon? Oh my goodness, we actually can. So here's what I-44, I might have said I-11. I-44 looks like in Mount Vernon, southwestern Missouri. So that's what your roads look like. You can see, I think plows have came by for at least one lane on both ends, or that's just the lane that cars have been using the most, wearing down that snow and melting it just due to speed. And so really just one lanes are open here. So if you don't have to, please don't travel. Let's go over back to our radar. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to this scene because I don't want to just use Connor's feed the whole time. There you go. I don't like to keep his feet up forever. So there's all your winter storm warnings. I don't know if Catman is in here, but he was He was expected to see 4 to 10 inches of snow. Wow. And I know he's already seen about 2. It depends on exactly where you are. North of Tulsa, I think, has seen 4. Yeah, northern Tulsa, northeast of Tulsa. They had a heavy band make its way through earlier this afternoon. It depends exactly where he's located, but he's probably going to get at minimum 2 inches of snowfall out there. Overall, though, this whole system, like in this whole area, unless we just get a magical stalling out of this system, this whole area that I've circled here is going to underperform ridiculously, like literally ridiculously. Let's see. The Tulsa area is expected to only get another inch or so of snow, and some forecasts and some model runs as well were calling for as much as, like I just showed you there, actually, up to 10 inches of snowfall. I just showed you that. And most of Tulsa will only see about 4 or 5. And southwestern Missouri near the Joplin area, you guys are probably going to pick up on about another 3 inches of snow, so you could get around 7. But that's nowhere near what some models were saying. Most of our model runs were indicating a foot or more out in the Joplin area. So I'm very surprised with how underperforming this risk is for snowfall here. But even if it is underperforming, which it definitely is, it's still a very, very impactful snowstorm. So, like I mentioned, please stay off, especially the I-44 corridor. But if you don't have to travel, preferably anywhere in these winter storm warned areas, please don't travel. Starting to see some flurries make their way probably as far east as Bowling Green, Kentucky, with that heavier snow approaching just north of the Clarksville, Tennessee area. That's going to continue to drift eastward with time tonight into tomorrow morning. If you are out here in central Tennessee, your snow will be a little bit later. It's going to take a little while for that front to really push that snow forward into your region. So, like Legacy out there, southeast of Nashville, you're probably not going to get your first flakes until about 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. If you get it earlier than that, then that means it's going to overperform slightly. Depending on what your forecast out here, your official National Weather Service is calling for snow accumulations up to 2 inches. Yeah, you could definitely see 3 to 4 still. A little interesting on why they dropped it down so much. I really don't see. Okay, the NAM model is the only model run that keeps you pretty low. The NAM model has 2 inches of snow falling. I think it's the only model run that does that. The European has 3 inches. GFS has 5 inches. NAM 3K has, like I said, 2. The actual NAM model has 2.5 to 3. The RAP model has 3. The HRRR has 3. So, interesting. Personally, I think you could see 2 to 3 inches of snow. Even isolated amounts could be higher than that. But if you're south of this area here, south of this region is not going to see much snow accumulation at all. Most of this region that I have circled here in Tennessee is only going to get about an inch and a half, maybe 2. Let's see here. All right, going back to our nationwide radar again. That's what you're looking at currently across portions of the central U.S. No double-digit snow totals just yet. I think our highest report was this one out here in Great Bend, Kansas at 8.8 inches of snow. I haven't even seen anything close to that. I've seen 4, and I think I even saw 5 somewhere in east central Kansas. Yep, there it is. I saw 5 there, but I haven't seen anything remotely close to 8 inches of snow aside from that single report out there in central Kansas there. I do see a 7-inch report there northwest of Wichita. That actually might be on the higher end now. So if we get a report from that area, it might be closer to 8 or 9 inches of snow there. For my area, I'm really thinking about 2 to 3 inches of snow. If we get like no dry air at all, which would be nearly impossible. The high-end scenario here, the absolute high-end scenario here is 8 inches of snow, but even that is almost unachievable, even if we don't see dry air. I'm thinking I'll get about 2 to 3 inches of snow. Also, if we just go ahead and look at your future radar, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, keep in mind, this is a future radar, of course, so it's going to be a little bit inaccurate. The exact simulation that this depicts, it's not going to happen. Look at Radar Omega for you. Off. 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 It keeps coming right back on. Okay, they finally stayed off. There's Radar Omega for you. Okay, let's go ahead and push this on out. So this is generally what we're seeing right now, around 7 p.m. Eastern time. If we go ahead and pull this out further, this is what we're going to see towards 8 p.m., 9 p.m., all in Eastern. So 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight tonight. Midnight tonight will be where that heaviest snow begins to fall out here in Nashville and generally around the Nashville area. Then as we go through 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, that will continue 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., then it will lighten up towards 7 a.m. and then probably stop by the 8 a.m. time frame. If we go and pull this out as far as we can go, you can see here at 11 a.m., if this is the look at 11 a.m., we are doomed for snow. I will just say that. If this is what we are seeing at 11 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, you might as well just go back to sleep and not even bother looking out your window if you are anywhere out here in the Triad or in Southern Virginia, because that's going to amount up to an inch, half inch of snow. If we look at something that would be more promising, a different model right here, this is more promising. 11 a.m. This would be more promising where you have that band of very heavy snowfall, kind of medium to heavy snowfall at 11 a.m. And then you have your big batch of precipitation to the south. So what that would indicate is that would indicate your low pressure is stronger. So your low would move up to the north and east. That would help fling your moisture up like this. That cold air would slam into that moisture, and then you would get snow, very heavy snow, in generally this entire area here. So if this did happen, there you go. Very heavy snow in that entire region, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and then it does start to leave western North Carolina, southwestern Virginia by 6, 7 p.m. However, going into Thursday, don't be surprised if anybody's got school out here Thursday, which I'm sure most of us, most likely they haven't canceled it yet. But Thursday could be a delay or even cancellations for school, as we might have a very heavy batch of snow move across much of Virginia and North Carolina. I don't know exactly what they're going to do for Thursday morning out here, but considering our timing on this main snowstorm here, it won't leave until Wednesday night. That should allow for things to ice over Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then by the time you get any opportunity for it to melt, you'll have snow. So probably, don't quote me on it, but probably going to end up with no school in much of this region going into Thursday, primarily for the ice potential. And then again, like I just said, it's probably going to snow in the afternoon hours again. Now, some models disagree on that. I don't know if this one's going to disagree. We're going to find out together. Oh my goodness. Wow. You don't even get flakes in Greensboro on this one. Gracious day. Oh my word. That is horrific. Just a complete lack of moisture on the southeast side of your snowstorm here in the southern side. So we're really gonna, I mean, in the morning, by the time we wake up, most of us probably gonna be up about 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning out here in Virginia, North Carolina. If our radar doesn't look like this towards that Oh, well, not this, actually. Wrong model run. Let me pull it up again. This is your better model run. So 9:10 a.m. Like I said, we got to have that very large area of rain to the south and large area of snow to the north. That's what you got to have. If you don't have those two things, you're just not going to see much snow, if any, in the entire state of central North Carolina, southern, southeastern Virginia. Now, given even if we do see that very low end scenario, if you are in Virginia Beach, this small area here would still end up with very heavy snowfall. It would still be on the lower amount, even with this scenario. It would be closer towards probably 5 to 6 inches of snow. But that is your least likely case scenario there. The GFS shows a more likely case scenario if we go ahead and pull this out. So again, 10 a.m., the GFS doesn't really have it too well either. We have some snow to the north, but we don't have that large area of snow to the north. We have some rain to the south, but we don't have that very large amount of rain to the south. And even with that lack of precip on the northern and southern sides, you still get a lot of snow in most areas that are forecasted to see some heavy snow, but it's very quick hitting. I mean, it hits at noon and then it's gone by 3 over here in central North Carolina or west central North Carolina, south central Virginia. And by the time you get into the evening hours, look at that. This is around 7 p.m., between 7 and 10 p.m. I mean, it's really just for the coastal areas at that point. So, I'll definitely know. I'll know if I'm going to chase tomorrow right when I wake up. I'm going to look at that radar at 9, 10 a.m. whenever I get up. And if I don't see what the NAM 3K is portraying here, where we get that heavy snow band. Oh, that is a perfect scenario right there. That's an even more perfect scenario. We just got to have to the south. We need all this moisture here. If we don't have all this moisture here and your low pressure is moving up like this low pressure is not going to be able to fling that moisture well inland into North Carolina and Virginia. And then, of course, you have your cold front pushing back like this. Low pressure here pushing up to the northeast. It's not a bad setup. It's just the fact that it seems like a lot of dry air is going to just inhibit this from being a major winter storm, aside from out there in Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach, northeastern North Carolina, you guys are going to see a major snowstorm. Regardless of what scenario plays out, you're going to see at least 6 inches of snow. Thank you, Proxima, for being a EF4 member for a whole year now. 12 months you've been an EF4 member. That is greatly appreciated. Saying thanks for doing your usual excellent job, keeping us weather aware, TRG. You're welcome, Proxima. Glad to see you back in here. Hopefully all is well. You haven't been seeing, at least from what I've seen, you haven't seen a bunch of impactful snow recently. And then a $50 donation from Proxima there. That is absolutely insane. Thank you, Proxy, for the $50 donation. That is greatly, greatly appreciated. It's actually a sticker. It's actually a sticker. That's what it's considered. But thank you for the $50 donation. That is insane. Thank you. That is really appreciated. Let me quickly go. How much can I see in Southwest Virginia? Let me see. I'd say 2 inches of snow, probably. But again, thank you, Proxy, for that $50 donation and being a EF4 member for a whole year. That is a big milestone. A year of being a member. That is a big milestone. Yeah, Southwestern Virginia. Let's see. What are they forecasting for you? 1 to 3 inches of snow. Yep. I literally said right in the middle of that. I'd say about 2 inches of snow as well. About 4 to 5 inches of snow. I hope I get that much. I will take every last bit of snow you don't want. I will take it all. Unless it gets over 18 inches of snow. Once we get to 18 inches of snowfall or greater than that, that's when I'm like, okay, enough snowfall. I think I'm good. Which this one was supposed to be, originally we were thinking around a foot of snow for Virginia, Southern Virginia, Southeastern Virginia, which we were correct for Virginia Beach. This area could see up to a foot of snowfall, but from our earlier model runs earlier this week, we thought that foot of snowfall could range like this large, and then it slowly drifted east, 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 east until it got towards very coastal Virginia. And now we're expected to get out here in Southern Virginia. I would say about 3 inches of snow. That's what I'm expecting. I've seen some Twitter forecast call for as much as 5 inches of snow for me, but I'm really expecting 3. I think we're going to have some issue with dry air, and I think we're going to still have a good amount of moisture to give us snow. So I don't think we're going to have a scenario like the wrap model where I end up with literally not even a trace of snowfall. Like, we're not even talking a tenth of an inch of snowfall in my area on the wrap model. And then again, I don't think we're going to have a GFS scenario where I end up with 4 or 5 inches of snow. Again, Proxy, thank you for that $50 donation. That is absolutely crazy. That is really appreciated. I want to go back to your current radar so that way you don't think that's current. That is a model run. I want to go back here. That's your current radar. And you can see that dry air entrainment. Look at it. You could see it. It's already evident out here in central northern Arkansas. So I don't even think you guys are going to see as much snow as we were originally thinking. But exactly what you guys are talking about will also be extremely impactful. Take a look at the wind chills here from your official National Weather Service forecast. We can't do wind chills. We'll do temperatures. This is your official temperatures and not including wind chills from the National Weather Service. I think Thursday morning is going to be the coldest, so that's going to be the morning of the 20th here. Let's see, yeah, tomorrow's the 19th. So morning of the 20th should be the coldest. You could see, look at that. -1, -1 to -3 temperatures into northern Arkansas, northeastern Oklahoma. Again, not including those wind chills, which will probably lower those values by about -5 to 10. So if you're out here near Tulsa, you're probably going to get wind chills as low as -10 to -15 degrees. So I mean, we're all going to be freezing. Look at this. The only place that won't be freezing for normal temperatures. Did that just say 120? Where was that glitch? I saw it. It said 123. 104. Oh, never mind. This area is going to see 104. It's bugging like that. But the only area that won't be into the freezing Thursday morning will be out here in southern Georgia and almost all of Florida, with the exception of far western Florida. As well as, of course, I mean, even like Los Angeles, you're going to be in the 50s, but just to your north and east, that area is going to be very close to the freezing point. So it looks like a good chunk of California will also be in Arizona as well. So this area here generally won't be freezing at or below 32 degrees. Far western Washington, Oregon won't be below 32 degrees. And far southern, southeastern Georgia, southwestern South Carolina, and a good chunk of Florida, the peninsula of Florida, won't be at freezing. But the majority of the U.S., okay, this whole region here, this entire area. I went a little bit too far southeast. This entire region here in the United States is going to be at or below freezing for Thursday morning. And then with those deadly temperatures here in this area. You've got deadly temperatures over much of North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, into Texas, into Arkansas, most of Illinois, most of Wisconsin, northwestern Michigan, also going to be in that chance for deadly temperatures Thursday morning. Also, tomorrow morning will still be very cold, not as cold as Thursday morning. The deadly temperatures will be still in much of the same area here. It's where your deadly temperatures are, but the freezing temperatures will be a little bit less widespread tomorrow morning. You can see it's not over the entire U.S. We've got more of into the 40s here in towards the Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina. So not as widespread tomorrow, but still going to be quite deadly temperatures for a good chunk of the central U.S. and the north central U.S. And a lot of people are under those extreme cold warnings. If we go ahead and turn on those extreme cold warnings, we'll go ahead and turn off everything here so you can see it well. All right, so there's those extreme cold warnings. And you can see exactly where they are across most of North Dakota, good chunk of Montana, most of Texas, almost all of Oklahoma, almost all of Kansas, almost all of Iowa, almost all of Minnesota, some portion of Wisconsin. I'm a little surprised they don't have them into more of Missouri and more of into Illinois, even though they don't have those extreme cold warnings in your area. I'm sure they have advisories for it. Yep, there's your advisories for it. So like out here near St. Louis, -19 wind chills will be possible. Yeah, that's still, in my book, that's going to be very close to very dangerous to deadly temperatures. If that happened out here in Virginia, we wouldn't be going outside for like 48 hours within that time frame. We just wouldn't even bother. Oh, actually, look at that. Wind chills as low as 20 below could cause frostbite on exposed skin as little as half an hour. Let's go look at those extreme cold warnings. Let's turn those off. Let's see. Oh, wow, we got an extreme cold watch out here in Houston. Dangerously cold wind chills as low as 15 possible. I want to see. Let's go, like, here. Holy crap. When we say a deadly temperatures, that's what I'm talking about right there. Holy cow. Gracious day. -60 for northern North Dakota Wednesday morning. Holy cow. That's insanity. Jeez. I hope I never have to experience that in my life. No, thank you. I do want to also see that cell back out in Louisiana. I want to see if it's trying to rotate at all. Because it did give me a little surprise earlier. It actually had a supercell, kind of a supercell structure to it, but thankfully we don't have any. Yeah, see, look at it right here. We don't have much wind shear, so. At least that's my assumption. Let me go see if I'm dead wrong. I want to go see. Mesoanalysis. We got pretty good wind shear. It's just the fact that we have zero instability. Even with zero instability, it was still a special weather statement. Only an inch or two with drifts up to 6. You could still see an additional 2 inches of snow tonight, but overall, it was just a very underperforming snowstorm for most. I think the only area that performed was out here near and northwest of Wichita. That was the only area that I think actually verified with their snow totals. And St. Louis is actually overperforming quite a bit as well. But, I mean, this whole area here that was originally looking at the official forecast, I looked at it this morning. I should have screenshotted it. But the official National Weather Service forecast database had areas up to 14 inches of snowfall officially forecasted in southwestern Missouri. And we only got 5 at the moment. We could still see, and we're most likely going to see an additional 2 to 4 in those areas, but 5 plus 4 is 9. That's still not even close to 14. Where is this? Bismarck, North Dakota recorded their all-time low for today, this morning. Today, the 18th of February, they broke their record. Today, it was negative 38 this morning. The last record at this time was set in negative 37 degrees back in 1910. It was the coldest temperature that Bismarck has ever seen since January 15th of 2009, when it was negative 44 and only 7 degrees shy of shattering the all-time record of negative 45. So it broke the record for February 18th. The record was broken for February 18th on a given year, but the all-time record for the lowest they've ever gotten to, negative 45, there were only 7 degrees off of that. And that does not include wind chills. They've seen negative wind chills probably at or even below negative 60 before. But normal temperatures, not wind chill, they recorded negative 38 today. Which again, that record of negative 37 was set back in 1910. And they were just 7 degrees shy of shattering the all-time record for North Dakota in the Bismarck area. So that's insane. I don't know what, I have a weather station app that Lucky sent me. I don't know if I'm able to show you guys it. I have zero clue what the rights are, but I'm going to go see a weather station out there. So there's Bismarck. I wonder if this isn't going to go back. Look, it's negative 13 out there right now. Look at that. That's all your normal temperatures across the U.S. Do we have wind chill? Yep. Here's your wind chill. There's your wind chill values across the U.S. right now. Recorded wind chills. Look at that. Negative 27 in Bismarck. Let me get rid of that radar. There you go. I want to find that site really quick whilst y'all look at that briefly. And I want to go up to Bismarck. Does Bismarck have a weather station? Oh, there's Bismarck. Don't know why it took me a minute to find Bismarck. Okay, they do. Look at their recorded history. Okay. This isn't going to show it. It seems like their wind gusts were not high this morning. The winds really started to pick up towards the afternoon, around 4 p.m. in Bismarck, and they were still just a little breezy. They weren't really that high. So the wind chill probably wasn't much of a change there. So there's your wind chills. Once again, wind chills, not normal temperature. So OKC has a negative 14 right now. Enid, negative 17. Great Bend, negative 22. Wichita, negative 20. If we go up here towards Nebraska, we've got Three Fort at negative 20. South Dakota, Rapid City, negative 21. Faith, negative 24. Bismarck, North Dakota, negative 27. Negative 33 in far northern North Dakota. Negative, oh wow, these go up into Canada, and negative 42 out there. somewhere in southwest Canada. I apologize, I don't exactly remember where this was. I knew the Providences last year, but I have forgotten them because I haven't looked. That is got to be on a mountain or something. That says negative 40, negative 66. Negative 66. How long ago was that? Let's see exactly when that was. Okay, I can't tell exactly when it was, but my guess is about, we'll say about, I think about 45 minutes ago, just based off of how long that loop is. Wait, I can see. Never mind, I can see. I want to see exactly when that was. I got to go to when it was first observed, which I wasn't doing before. This was an hour 15 minutes ago. Hour 15 when negative 66 was first observed. And then once it changed to negative 59, which is what I was doing before, that was about 50 minutes ago, which I said 45. So I was close for that one, but I forgot. You have to go for when it was obviously first observed. I think that's the coldest one out of everywhere in the US and Canada. Wait, these go all the way into China? Well, I had no idea about that. And there's just none in the southeastern US at all. That's because they're not recorded. If we go to actual temperatures, there you go. They aren't recording any wind chill, I suppose. Highest wind gust recorded at the moment. Let's see. It looks like somewhere near Wichita, probably. Wind gust around 30 miles per hour in Wichita Falls, Texas. So this shows you where those intermediate blizzard conditions are most likely occurring. Right in that area is where you have intermediate blizzard conditions. All right, let's go and turn off all these metars now. So if you're just tuning in, this is what we're looking at out here in portions of the central U.S. If you want to see what it looks like ground view, look above my face cam right here. Connor Croft is just to the northwest of Joplin, Missouri. He's near just west of Carl Junction, I believe that is. I think that says Carl Junction. Somewhere over here. He's somewhere in here. Can't find him exactly. We could go to Radar Omega, see if we can exactly find him here. There you go, Carl Junction, right there. Starting to see some special weather statements in and around the Houston area for this thunderstorm. Not expected to see much of a tornado threat today. You can see the intermediate blizzard conditions are really going to come from the blowing snow. According to chasers that I've watched, most of the snow that's fallen is more of puffy. It's more of dry snow, I believe is what it's called. So dry snow, which means that it's very, it's really, really, really light and can easily be blown around. Whereas if you have heavier snowfall, I mean, look at that. Your visibility is getting lower and lower. They also went onto a more non-plowed snow, or rather non-plow road there. But it's really not even snowing where he is. If we take a look at your reflectivity, that's not right. That's Radar Omega for you. There you go. So, like I said, he's near Carl Junction. Where am I? Okay, this is Missouri. I was gonna say, I don't even see Joplin on here. There's Springfield. Joplin should be like right here. And there's Carl Junction. Yeah, there is Joplin. It's covered by the snow report. So you could see it's barely even snowing there in Carl Junction. I mean, you've got a DBZ of like 10. So most of the snow that you see that is impacting visibility there above my face cam, Connor Croft's feed there, most of that's just blowing snow. Some of it is very light snow, but most of it is blowing snow. And you can see you can see how difficult it is to actually get under that perfect band that could give you those higher snowfall totals. I mean, look how widespread they are now. They're more widespread to the north and also in the middle, but before, towards the late afternoon hours, I mean, you had a big band here, and then you just had little bands every now and then back out in these areas here. So whilst a lot of people see snow overall, it takes a lot of luck to get under those heaviest bands of snowfall that could deliver those higher snowfall rates. You can see that's a relatively untreated road that Connor's on yet again just before the bridge, just to the west of Carl Junction there. Just terrible traveling conditions. And like I mentioned, it's barely even snowing anymore out here. So imagine how it was when we actually had those potential blizzard conditions ongoing. Or intermediate blizzard conditions, I should say. I don't know if we're going to get any of those. Not towards Joplin again. It looks like our heaviest band... I apologize for the flashing. It looks like our heaviest band has now set up just south of Joplin. Southeast of Joplin. So that's moving off towards the Springfield area now. You've got a little bit of patches of heavier snow lingering on the end of this snowstorm, but mainly it is your main bands over Springfield. And then the front of your snowstorm, which is where your heaviest snow is, which was bringing those intermediate blizzard conditions in the earlier afternoons today, that's all the way back out here near Paducah, Kentucky. Matter of fact, I wonder if we could get any cameras out here. The heaviest looks to be in... I'm not going to attempt in Illinois, southern Illinois. Let's see how Caleb's traffic cams are. Let's see how his state does. See if he's got some terrible traffic cams. Oh my goodness, what is this site? Does he even have any traffic cams? I think these are them, but it is a terrible site. We've got one camera out in southern Illinois, and it is near Marion, which is just to the north of what I have circled here. It's on the northern side of that circle. And I don't even know if I can even access it. This is terrible. I'm trying to click on the link, but every time I try to click on it, it just disappears. So Illinois does not have a good traffic cam map at all. I mean, I can't even find a feed for it. Well, we'll just try Tennessee then. Because I know they have a better traffic cam network. I know it is smaller, though. There's not as many cameras in Tennessee. If I remember correctly, that's pretty rare. Yep, all their cameras are focused in Nashville and Memphis and Chattanooga. So we don't have any cameras in Northwest Tennessee. So we ain't got any cameras there. And then I know this is all sleet to mixed precipitation and maybe some freezing rain. Missouri, I think Missouri has the best DOT traffic cams. I think Missouri does. Either Missouri or Pennsylvania. Ooh, or New York. New York, Pennsylvania, and Missouri all have good traffic cam networks. All right. So if you're just tuning in, I'll go ahead and show you two things really quick. Haven't showed both of these in a little while. I've showed this just a minute ago, but that's your current radar right there. We'll go and switch back to this because, like I said, I don't like to show Connor's feed a whole lot. So there's our current radar imagery, and we should have gotten an update on this. Yes, we did. All right, this is your newest update of your WSSI, which is actually above my face cam. I don't know if you guys noticed that updated, but it indeed did. So this is your new update, and they have gone ahead, and most of the major impacts out here in Missouri have been removed, and all the major impacts have been removed from Oklahoma, Kansas, in northwestern Arkansas. So we're left with really, this is your main batch of major impacts now. Like I mentioned on a previous live stream, I don't really listen to these tiny little dots here of major impacts. In order for in my opinion, in order for it to be a major snowstorm, we have to have a good chunk of an area that is under major impacts. For instance, like what you see here in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas, or what you see out here for tomorrow. Tomorrow's also a major winter storm because we have a very large area here that is under major winter impacts as well. It looks like I have also... Looks like I may be traveling 5 minutes to Collinsville, just to my northwest. That's literally like 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes away from me. I'll just take a quick drive up there so I can get inside the level 3 out of 5 as opposed to the level 2. So might just go for a quick drive tomorrow to the northwest. That wouldn't be that bad of an idea. But there you go. Also, oh, I just remembered these impacts up here. You can see that area of major impacts. Let's go see the official forecast from the National Weather Service. I don't think I've looked at this today, have I? I don't think I have. At least not on stream, I should say. So they're expecting about almost a foot and a half out there northwest of Syracuse, New York. That's what that major impact is for. And look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 10.5 out here. And again, this is your official forecast. So you could actually end up seeing higher than this or slightly lower than this. Normally they do a range. So the pinpoint is 10 inches of snow. So the range is around 9 to 11 inches of snow for this region. Okay, they say 8 inches to a foot of snow. That's the range. They give a 4-inch range there. And then, like I said here, their high-end forecast, I'll see if they changed that at all. Nope. Virginia Beach, your high-end forecast is 14 inches of snow. 16, my bad. 16 inches of snow for Virginia Beach is your high-end. And Norfolk or North is 18 inches of snow for your high-end forecast. Actually, Cape Charles is that right there. Your high-end forecast, which is a 10% chance of happening, highest in snowfall, is 19 inches of snow. If we don't see any dry air, those numbers I just said, 18 for Norfolk, 16 for Virginia Beach, 19 for Cape Charles. If we have absolutely no dry air, that could actually happen. We could actually see those snow totals. Even if that doesn't happen and we end up with, 9 inches of snow or 10 inches of snow in Virginia Beach, that has to be pretty historic. I do remember one good snowstorm in Virginia Beach from a while ago. Let's see. It looks like the last time you guys out here in Virginia Beach had a snowstorm exceeding 10 inches of snow was back in 1989. And then before that, before the 1989 blizzard, it actually went way back to 1772, which was 3 feet of snow. 3 feet of snow way back in 1772. What's this? The 1996 blizzard. I swear, some of these blizzards I've just never heard of, and then when I look at them, they have like 40 inches of snow along the coast or something. 1996 blizzard. Great blizzard. Look at that. That gave me 20 inches of snow out here in Martinsville. Why can't we get something like that again? 6 inches of snow for Virginia Beach. You're going to get more than that for this one. Wow. 24 inches of snow for Roanoke in 96. That's crazy. I always enjoy finding those archives of blizzards. Let's see. No, I was not alive during George Washington and who else recorded that? George Washington and Thomas Jefferson reported 36 inches of snow in Virginia Beach in 1772. Dude, that's such a long time ago. No, the last time I do remember, let's see. When was the last time Virginia Beach had 6 inches of snow? Because I remember, yeah, January 2014. January 2014, Virginia Beach had about 6 inches of snow on the ground. Because I remember it. I actually do remember that. Can I look at that? January 2014 snowstorm. So I can see the exact amount. Let's see. I gotta dig for it. Oh, great. Okay, I don't have time to dig through all of this to try to find it. It's going to take years to find that one. But it was a blizzard from the 19th to the 24th. Hi, Lopez. Close out all that so that my computer don't scream at me. All right, let's go back to our current radar again. So there you go. Still very much notable dry air infiltration here. Or at least lack of precipitation. I can't say if it's dry air or not. I haven't looked at soundings. But how about this? A lack of snow is noted in this area. I don't exactly know what's causing it. It could be dry air. It could be warmer air. It could be just simply lack of moisture. It could be multiple things. But there's just a denoted area of less snow all the way from generally Fort Smith back up towards just to the south and east of Joplin, Missouri. Just south of Springfield as well. Some flurries may be as far east as Lexington, Kentucky, as far north as just south of Indianapolis, and as far north as near Bloomington, Illinois. Could be seeing some very, very light flurries at this time. But that more notable snow and our actual snowstorm, this is the area where we're actually seeing that heavier snow denoted here by radar. Most specifically on the very front of our snowstorm. And keep in mind, this down here is a mixture of mixed precipitation, rain, and freezing rain. Even though Radar Omega says it is snow, it is in fact not snow. See what the new HRRR has here. HRRR is looking a bit better, but look at that. This is here for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. We need that to fill in right there. That needs to be rain. If that doesn't get rain, that's going to really hurt snowfall totals. I don't know exactly where that would hurt them. Yeah, that would hurt it generally south of Greensboro and about this region here. That would really hurt your snow totals, ice, or mixed precipitation. And if that did fill in, that would also help more moisture go to the north. So your HRRR is still having a lack of moisture. You can see it. There's your low pressure, although weak, noted. Moving to the northeast, and you can see just not a lot of precip filled in this area here. And if we just look at the NAM 18Z, you can see the NAM fills in all of that. And again, has that area of cold air there. So cold, low, moisture, moisture all being flung up that way. Actually, a low doesn't fling up moisture like that. It's like this. So it's rotating all that moisture up and then back down, and it keeps rotating it here. And you'll see that eventually it just leads to this huge patch of a very large area of very heavy snowfall at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And that's because it can translate all that moisture. It could pull up all that moisture up into Virginia and North Carolina, and it can increase those snow totals. If we go to the GFS is a low resolution model, which doesn't coordinate that as well. The GFS is also quite late on that low pressure forming. If we look at the NAM, none of them really have a great low forming. You know, like 2 days ago, they had a really good, yeah, see this? This was 2 days ago. The NAM had an absolute fantastic low pressure forming there, and that would be probably intermediate blizzard conditions there, because that low would just keep feeding in moisture and also causing winds on the coastal areas here. So this one is that is like a major, very major snowstorm if that were to happen. And this doesn't account for all those snow totals. There you go. See, that would account for a major snowstorm there. If we had that good of a low form tomorrow, we would literally end up with very high-end snow totals. But it looks like now that we're closer, that low is not going to be as defined. I try to be the best I can at weather, but there's still a lot I don't know, and there's a lot I forget and have to refresh myself on, so but over time I'll get better. You just have to learn. And also make a bunch of mistakes too. For instance, Wednesday's forecast and Saturday's forecast from the SPC and from what models and I was saying as well. And none of it verified tornado-wise, so you got to go back and figure out what made that forecast bust? What was it that went wrong with the environment that underperformed supercells? And of course, we went over it multiple times in those streams. It was a 700 millibar dry air inversion. Let me go over to, shoot. Speaking of that, this is something that I've relatively been trying to learn. So you can also do research on this, of course, but model runs, I've tried to research it. I still don't fully understand it. But model run precipitation type takes into account dry air in specific areas of the atmosphere and specific temperatures in the atmosphere. I don't know what the NAM has, but it's like, this is just an instance. But the NAM would combine temperatures at, say, the 950 millibar and temperatures at, say, the 700 millibar. And it would figure out which one of those, if it's freezing all the way, if it's warm, then cold, if it's warm, warm, or cold, and then cold, to figure out what type of precipitation it's going to put out on a particular sounding. So this is definitely... Oh, wow. Where did we take this at? Because that would almost concern me from a bit of freezing air, but you have enough time. But see how quick that turns into freezing temperatures there? And if we go over to a actual freezing rain temperatures, let's see here. So this is a freezing rain SKU-T here. Wow. Look at that photograph. You got negative wind shear in that sucker. That's how strong it is. You got negative 33 surface to 1 kilometer wind shear right there. But yeah, so for in this instance, this is when it's just turning to freezing rain. But you can see, look, see how it turns back to snow on here? That's not a perfect freezing rain sounding at all. Because what you do is, this is your freezing point right here. If I'm not mistaken, this is in Celsius right here. At least for this bottom one, I believe that is in an all Celsius. And then the actual pinpoint temperature or dew point is in Fahrenheit. So generally there is your freezing point, right? So you are warm, warm, warm. Okay, doesn't really matter. Cold, so you freeze into snow and or freezing rain. And then you actually warm a little bit back up. Actually, I have this backwards. My bad. Reading this backwards. So this is cold, and then it warms back up into rain. So it's kind of rain, snow, and then it's back on into rain, and then it freezes quickly before it hits the surface. You can see right here, that's where it freezes. So it has this literally 50 millibars, just a couple 100 feet before it hits the ground. And so that would allow it to be more freezing rain. However, this is where I took the sounding right here. Immediately after that, apparently it gets a bit colder. So that's why there's a bit of a forecast issue in this area. Because I'm sure different model runs have different temperature gradients towards the lower level in this region. But again, we'll just take one here. This should be a completely freezing rain sounding in here. Let's see if I can find one even better than that, too. We'll also do one here, too. Winter is something that I'm really trying to forecast and rather learn for soundings. I don't even know what's going on in the lower levels right there. Another instance here. So, see, look at this once again. Right here is your freezing point. So, it's rain, 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 rain. Nope. I got that wrong again. It's snow all through here. And then it turns into rain. Turns back into rain. And then right at the bottom, it's going to still be rain. And then quickly turn into snow. And then try to quickly turn back into rain. And so it's going to be colder rain and freezing rain in that area. And wow, that is a great... That is a long... photograph. 1,350 surface to 3 kilometer wind shear. Dude. You can see the pink here is your lower level. So you have like garbage lower level, like literally like very, very lower level. We're talking about the lowest 1 kilometer level of your surface. So your upper level is like A+, S tier, S tier, S tier, F tier. Right when you get into the lower levels, you just go from a S tier to F tier wind shear right there. Yeah, but overall, the best chance for freezing rain is definitely going to be here in the pink that I've just circled. That's going to be your area for freezing rain. And the best chance for all snow is by far going to be this area in here. However, it depends if you get moisture, especially towards this area right here. This region really depends on moisture. So if you're in Winston, Greensboro, Raleigh, or actually Durham, that is. So Greensboro, Winston, Durham, Roxborough, Yanceyville, Reedsville, Eden, Danville, Martinsville, any of these areas in your triad or southern South Central Virginia, it's all going to matter and come down to if we actually get that moisture in place, which the 18Z does show. Again, here, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. 10 a.m., we have to have moisture. We have to have a huge area of rain and or mixed precipitation in this whole area. And we have to have a large area of snow here. So you have that large region of cold air and snow, and then a large area of moisture, and you're going to have that low pressure that flings up that moisture up, and it's all going to mix right into the triad area, and especially into the Virginia Beach area and Norfolk region. And you can see it does definitely underdo some snow totals for sure. Some snow totals are definitely on the lower end, especially out in my neck of the woods, but still, I'll take 2 inches of snow. I'd prefer to get 3 to 4, but shoot, anything's better than nothing. But you can see that results in more widespread 2 to 3 inches of snowfall here in the central portion of the triad, with going towards central North Carolina, towards Raleigh and Durham. You get close to 4 to 5 inches of snow. And then that sweet spot for all that moisture and cold air is Virginia Beach and Norfolk, down towards just to the northwest of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Because that's where it really... I disagree with that. So typically out here in Virginia, you're going to get around... If you're lucky, you'll get a ½ inch of snow per hour. But we'll just go ahead and kind of average it out to, we'll say every 3 hours is an inch of snow, right? You get very heavy snow out here in Martinsville from noon all the way till 7. That's a good solid like 7-8 hours, right? So that should be a minimum of 2 inches of snow, closer to 3 inches of snow. And this actually says that it's like an inch. I disagree with how that's accumulating the actual snowfall there. I like the 12Z model run better. I think that handled the accumulation a bit better. I think it did overdo it from my area. I don't think I'm going to get 5 inches of snowfall or 4.5. I think that was overdoing it. I feel like the NAM's either overdoing something or it's underdoing it. So we'll see what the 0Z NAM has. That's going to be the most accurate. And then the 0Z HRRR is coming in right now. We're definitely going to be live for that. I was going to do a multi-stream today, both on TikTok and here on YouTube. But my camera wasn't working on TikTok for some reason, and I have no idea why. Like, obviously my camera is working here on YouTube, but whenever I pulled up TikTok Studio, it just would not work. So we're going to see what the 0Z HRRR has here. So there's your additional accumulation on top of what you've already had. So, I mean, Joplin, you're pretty much done. You could get another 1.5 inches. Tulsa, 1 inch. Wichita, ½ inch to 1 inch. Most areas where you're going to get that extra accumulation will be out here in Missouri, Western Kentucky, Northern Arkansas. And then, of course, the snow is just beginning for portions of Central Tennessee and Northwestern Tennessee. As you can see from our current radar imagery, snow is starting to pool on up just south of Lexington, as well as it's getting close to Nashville. But some of this may not actually be hitting the ground. It may be flurries, or it may not even be flurries at all. So just take that into account. Don't be fully discouraged if you're not seeing snow in this area here or in this area here. Because you're going to see snow tonight. It's just a matter of time. Really curious to see what that HRRR has out here east of the Appalachians. Because if we look at our last couple HRRR runs here, If we look at the 18Z, 12Z, 06Z, 0Z from yesterday, you can see every model run here. If we just do it backwards, 0Z, look at Southeast NC, 0Z, 06Z, 12Z, 18Z. It keeps increasing this area of moisture. So that's going to keep increasing snow totals here in that area. We need more moisture, though, in this whole region. I mean, we just got a complete dry air slot locked in over here, over North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. And that, I mean, you can see here, it just skips over a lot of areas in North Carolina. And then we do get the Clipper system. Look at all that snow on the Clipper system Thursday morning. So if we look at our precipitation 12-hour accumulation, you can see that Clipper system. That Clipper system is going to deliver a widespread amount of ½ inch to 1 inch of snowfall, in addition to the snowstorm we're going to see tomorrow. Wow. Really, Carson? Most schools and businesses out here in Martinsville, they were canceling telling people they were canceling 2-3 days in advance. A bunch of areas are fully shut down tomorrow out here in Martinsville. A lot of areas are just completely shut down. All right, this is 08Z, so that's about 3 a.m. That's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. There you go. So this is 3 a.m. Eastern. Also, can we note how far south it's bringing snow? I mean, that's pretty far south. That's southeast Arkansas, north central Mississippi there. This area just saw tornado warnings and 60-mile-per-hour winds, literally 2 days ago. Literally 2 days ago. It's Tuesday. 3 days ago now. So 3 days ago, we were seeing tornadoes and damaging winds in this area. Now we're talking about snow. Carson, don't fully get your hopes down. HRRR is very, very bad at handling moisture being transported over the Appalachians. I cannot tell you how many times I chased last year with the HRRR initiating near nothing. That big line, me and Lucky Chase, where we almost saw our first tornado in central Virginia near Roanoke, the HRRR had none of it. It had light rain to maybe a moderate amount of rain, but it completely underdid the entire line because it doesn't know how to transport moisture correctly over the Appalachians. From what I've experienced, it may be different, but from what I've experienced, the HRRR always will underdo moisture for severe weather. Whether or not for snow, well, we'll find out tomorrow. Ben, I definitely will be able to towards June and July. So if we get good setups in June and July, me and Lucky will head out there. But for actual like March, May, and April, I don't think Lucky's gonna want to go out there. But we're gonna try our best to chase in Tornado Alley towards like June and July. I mean, look how far that is. Some far southern snow there. So there's your very broad low forming off your screen there. There's our moisture beginning to increase. Connor Croft just ended his stream. He's done for the night. Just want to say bye in his chat. There you go. So we'll see how this progresses here. We're going to keep an eye on the HRRR00Z model run here. We're at 45 likes. Go ahead and hit that like button. Like goal for this stream, we'll say 50 since we're close to it. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. And if you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button. I don't know when our next live stream will be. I can't promise I'm going to chase tomorrow because I don't know what it's going to look like in the morning. If we do end up with an HRRR scenario, I'm not chasing. If we end up with more of a NAM3K scenario, I'll end up chasing. But I got to figure out how I'm going to get gas in my car tomorrow. That's what I got to figure out. Hopefully it doesn't snow too early in the morning. I can run down and get some gas early. Alright, next frame should be in now. Come on, HRRR. There you go. I like all that moisture in Alabama and Mississippi. And I like that large batch of snow in the Tennessee Valley and southern Midwest there. That's a good amount of snow. Let's look at the 18Z and see if it had... Yeah, so this is already running a little bit better for moisture. Just slightly. Not a big change in moisture, at least where I have circled. It does look like it's actually running less moisture in the for the actual low pressure there. So it looks like it's running more for Tennessee, Kentucky, and that area I have circled on the west side. It's running less for areas in the southeastern circle there. Let's close out all that since Connor is done. Get absolutely flashbanged by light mode on the National Weather Service site. I like everything dark mode. It's still running so much lower for moisture there. It's running so much lower. Let's do a comparison. This is the HRRR at 7 a.m. versus the NAM3K at 7 a.m. Eastern time, obviously. If we just do a comparison, look how much more moisture the NAM3K has than the HRRR. The overall system just looks completely stronger on the NAM3K. And look at all the extra moisture in Georgia and Mississippi and off the coastline of the Carolinas on the NAM. HRRR, NAM, HRRR, NAM. It's the NAM3K is just running so much better for moisture. Of course, that is the 18Z NAM. Absolute best case scenario, 8 inches of snowfall. But I think it would actually take a proper miracle to get that. I think it would take a proper miracle to somehow get 8 inches of snow out of this system anywhere other than Virginia Beach and Norfolk. In the far northeastern North Carolina state, of course. Now we wait. Wait for the HRRR. I can't get too mad at the Appalachians because this area right here initiates some kicking good thunderstorms in June, July, and honestly, in my opinion, out here in North Carolina and Virginia, what's actually months that I think people don't really give enough attention to? March and April. I swear, some of the best storms I've seen in my chasing lifetime here in Virginia and North Carolina have been March and April for severe weather. It seems like a lot of people out here talk about June and July because that's typically when it starts to get more active for us. But March and April, I have seen some crazy storms out here in Virginia and North Carolina. Even though that's more of March and April's more for the plains and Dixie Alley, it still ends up performing very well out here in Virginia and North Carolina. And last year, I didn't chase as much in March and April for the reason of thinking July would be better. So this year, my goal is to chase more in March and April in Virginia and North Carolina. Remember that moderate risk? I remember the August moderate risk from... Wasn't that 23? Buddy, we had like 15 moderate risks in the US over the last 2 years. I can't read your brain from halfway across the mid-Atlantic. Yeah, the one in August of 23. Yeah. That's the one I just said. Nashville, I'd say about 3 inches of snow for Nashville. Yeah, the 45% wind risk that busted like crazy for my area. However, that is one of the risks I will not complain for it busting. Because I did not want 100-mile-an-hour winds. So I was not complaining about that busting. All right, let's see the difference here. So this is the old HRRR new. Wow. Wait, nope. Wait, yeah, that is the old one. I almost thought that was the NAM. So the new HRRR is running much better for snow in Virginia and North Carolina, but it's running even worse for moisture in South Carolina in terms of rain. It also has a much more well-defined low pressure. So the new Zirzy has a better low here, but it still has worse moisture in that area. But it does have better snow in this area. And then the 18Z has better moisture in this whole area with a more disorganized, very broad low pressure with less snow in this region. So it's probably going to have about the same outcome. Because in one way it downtrends, and then in the other way it also uptrended. But it's probably going to end up being about the same. Now you can see here, it broadened out again. You got a very broad low. WPC. I want to go see the fronts. Yeah, Carson, you as well. We are in the forecast for very heavy snow at 1 p.m. Eastern. It looks like from noon to 6 p.m. Eastern is when they are forecasting heavy snow for us. About 5 hours, right? Right around 5 hours. This is cap. According to this map, Virginia Beach has a 40% chance of seeing 4 inches of snow. But the National Weather Service's official forecast is 8 to 12. Wow, this map is not good to look at in that case. That's weird. WPC and the National Weather Service are forecasting 2 different snow events. It's not looking much better. It really isn't. Zirzi's not looking a whole lot better. It's, in my opinion, it's still about the same. Like I said, it downtrended and uptrended in some areas. Alright. So we're just waiting for the Zirzi HRRR to finish rendering, and we have to get it to... Okay, if we don't count the Clipper system, the main snowstorm should be done in my area and Carson's area at 7 p.m. which is 30 frames. So if we take off 6 frames due to it being a 6-hour later model run, we got to get to 24 frames out. We are at 19 right now. Again, there's our current radar. That is 6 inches of snow in northwestern Arkansas. So that is verifying a bit better now. But it's still nowhere, I mean, not even remotely close to as much as what people, including the National Weather Service, were originally forecasting for this area. I mean, Springfield was a hot spot. I was thinking Springfield could end up with a foot of snowfall. But, I mean, so far I think we got a 4-inch report, 5.8 inches in Springfield. So by now, they have about 6 inches of snow in Springfield. That's half of what I was thinking. And by the time it's done, they're still going to get an additional inch and a half over the next 2 hours before the storm's fully moved out. So they could get 8, which is 4 inches of snow, less than what I was originally thinking. Which I guess that's not horrible, but I mean, that's still pretty rough. That's pretty rough, man. Let's close out WSSI there. It's atrocious. You might as well. Oh my goodness. We might as well start looking at winter of 2026 at this point if we're looking for any snow in North Carolina and Virginia. Get me to spring. I'm only 12 days away. I'm done. I quit. I rage quit. I'm leaving YouTube for 2 weeks. I'm just kidding. Although I don't know when I'm going to be live next if I don't chase tomorrow, because we're going to have a little break in the weather. Get me to spring already, man. I'm sick of this. The HRRR definitely does not have spring anytime soon, but get me to spring. Well, look at that. Another snowstorm for me. 222 hours out. Yeah, right. I'll believe it when it's on the ground. I'm not falling for this again. I'll fall for it. I will definitely fall for it. I'll say I won't fall for it, but then in 2 weeks, if that's still on the forecast and they're talking about 4 inches of snow, I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to get 4 inches of snow. And then I'm going to wake up to a ½ inch. I can't complain too much, though. Because we did end up with 3 good snows this season here in Virginia. I got the first snow was 2 inches, second snow was 5 inches, third snow was 2 inches. That's not something I'm going to complain a lot about. However, I am going to complain about the fact that this ended up going from 5 days ago, a foot of snow 5 days ago in my area, to 4 days later, a ½ inch of snow. I will complain about that. But I'm not going to fuss about how much snow I got this season because it was nice. I only expected to get like 2 inches of snow throughout the entire winter season from 24 to 25. So the fact that I got like 8 or 9, I'll take it. Oh my word. And then, oh my goodness, right on my feed, on my Twitter feed, 2 people just tweeted about a big signal for a snowstorm 10 days out. I'm going to go look at the GFS ensembles. Oh, look at Ensemble 8. Oh, look at Ensemble 1. Oh, I am zoomed in. Stupid me. Dude. I'm not going to fall for it. I ain't falling for it. Although I will say, early March has given us snowstorms here in Virginia. I think it was either 21 or 22. We got a really good 6+ inch snowstorm in early March. So I wouldn't count it out towards the end of February or the beginning of March, whatever that is, for a possible snowstorm in Virginia, North Carolina. As for whatever the heck the GFS is doing, yeah, no. Just recognizing a pattern in what we've seen before. Oh my goodness, that is so pathetic. Dry air kills the whole system, man. Even Norfolk and Virginia Beach, 4 and 3 inches of snow. Absolutely pathetic. Well, the HRRR wasn't right yesterday. You see, yesterday it was forecasting a large area of well over a foot of snowfall. We definitely didn't see a foot of snowfall anywhere close to a foot of snowfall in that entire area I've circled there. So maybe it will give me more snow as opposed to verifying less like it did yesterday for today. Geez, that's confusing. I mean, it did give, look at it. It did push west. Old model, new model. It did give me 0.3 extra inches of snow on the new model. Point 0.3. We are getting pretty close to wrapping it up here. We're still 3 likes away from our like goal, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. I'll go ahead and take a quick peek at the official Weather Prediction Center's forecast. Go ahead and give you an idea of when we may be live next. Let's see. We're going to have a dominant high pressure towards the end of this week. I know for a fact I cannot live stream Saturday. I know for a fact that's one day I will be completely busy. And I still have one more video that I have to get out before our tornado season forecast. I will give you a heads up. The tornado season forecast video is in the making. I've already got my general thinking for the tornado season. I've looked over everything and I know what I'm going to talk about and I know what the forecast is going to be. So I just have to fully actually make it. But before I even really make it, I got to do another normal video in about 3 days. So that would probably be like Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That'd be 2 days. Okay, so what could I mean, I might have to do a video Thursday, but I don't think there's going to be much to talk about. I don't think there's going to be anything to talk about. I don't know. I might just take a break from a video and not do a video this week. If that's the case and there's nothing to talk about. But anyways, looks like I'm going to be waking up to a 1/2 inch of snowfall on the ground and a big bust of a forecast. So hope is already lost before it even starts snowing. Go ahead and close that out. There we go. I'm going to bring a little space thing across your screen. Ignore that. But, yeah, 1 like away from our like goal. We're very close to ending. I'm just going to sit on this screen for a little bit. And then we'll start ending. I'll switch it back over here. I lied. Just to show you, there's your watches and advisories. Or rather, warnings and advisories up now. So, we'll see what happens out here in North Carolina and Virginia. See how it performs with the Appalachians. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that the HRRR is completely right for severe weather and or a snowstorm here in Virginia and North Carolina. I know, if I can remember correctly, I know the HRRR was too far south last month with a snowstorm, and the NAM was too far north. And then I do remember, like, the severe weather events the HRRR has always underdone What happened to the lake effect snowstorm warnings there? A is always underdone moisture. Did I turn those off? Yeah, turn those back on. There we go. We'll just see. What are y'all yapping about in chat? Not every tornado is an EF5. Well, no duh. Are you guys debating the EF scale? Greenfield, the Rolling Fork, Mayfield. Those are all competitors. Delete everything. TRG's looking at chat. Are those not EF5? Because the National Weather Service didn't find an EF5 indicator. In my opinion, I think Rolling Fork was very close to an EF5. Rolling Fork, when I saw the damage on Rolling Fork, that was one of the tornadoes where I just instantly thought, that's gotta be an EF5. And, I think, believe it was 190. It was either 190 or 195 for the official rating. I think it was 190. Ben just said 190. I think it was 190. And I mean, ever since I really haven't, ever since Rolling Fork, I haven't really seen damage where I'm like, that's an EF5. Rolling Fork was the last tornado where I thought that. It was 195. I think, they upped it, didn't they? I do remember like a random day last year or in late 23, they upped it by 5 or 10 miles per hour. I forgot, but I remember they upped it by a bit. But all right. There you go. We're going to go ahead and end the stream. And for Mayfield in 2021, I wasn't really that experienced with weather, so I didn't know what an EF5 indicator looked like, or an EF4 indicator, or anything like that. But thank you, mods, for mod chat, Carson, Legacy, Parliament, Caleb, and if I forgot you, Pete, of course, Pete. Appreciate you guys for mod chat. I'll see you guys all in the next live stream or video that I do. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday night. I know it was a pretty abrupt ending, but I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye. And not Nightbot. stay safe. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or video that I do. Have a great rest.